It's Friday night. Say yeah for the Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Flares you for another edition of Strictly Sports, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. One of our shorter dockets this evening, NBA free agency. That's going to be big the big story of the week. Get into a few of the big signings and other news, and we will also have our Major League Baseball power rankings as well. So, of course, you know where we have to start. The biggest bombshell of the free agent period so far. LeBron James signing with the Los Angeles Lakers has went down on Sunday night, and 4 year, I believe it was 4 years and 154 mil was the deal go to the Los Angeles Lakers. So wow. Um, yep, it is. Yep, it is. It is. That is 4 year, $154 million deal. Okay. So just want to make sure I have my numbers right. So wow, that that's the game changer. I mean, honestly, going into this whole thing, I thought when it, when he filed for free agency, I thought honestly, honest to goodness, I thought we were gonna probably end up having to endure another decision spectacle like we did 8 years ago. But thankfully, that did not happen. Praise the Lord, and we made his decision right away. And going to the Los Angeles Lakers, I mean, that is huge, to say the very least, especially for the Eastern Conference and huge for the NBA altogether. I mean, think about this. Think about this, guys. I mean, the last 4 years, what has the matchup in the NBA Finals been? The Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Unless the Cavaliers somehow, some way, pull a rabbit out of their hat, I don't think we're going to be getting that for a fifth year in a row. No way. I think 2000 it will mark the first time since 2014 we will not see a Warriors Caps final. Don't be surprised if the Warriors get there. But the East just became wide open. Of course, many consider the Boston Celtics as the odds-on favorites to represent the East in the 2019 NBA Finals, with LeBron going to the Lakers. But wow, game changer to say the very least. I mean, I know it's been quite a bit of hard times for the Lakers over recent years. I mean, ever since Kobe Bryant retired, they were in a rebuilding mode. They had all these younger talents, like your Jordan Clarksons and your Lonzo Balls and so many others. But boy howdy, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I have nine lingering questions about the LeBron James era Lakers. I mean, he's arrived in LA. Now comes the hard part for everyone else playing with him, coaching him, and building a roster for him. Question number one: what position is LeBron going to play? He spent the past few seasons in Cleveland playing in amorphous point forward role with a usage rate that always ranked among the league's highest. And we've grown accustomed to seeing him orchestrate and execute everything on offense, oftentimes in spite of the players around him. The Lakers, on the other hand, are looking to take the load off. And based on a report by ESPN last night, it appears that the Lakers are planning for LeBron to migrate toward the rim on offense, not away from it in LA. And the goal is reportedly for LeBron to become more of a post player who finishes and facilitates rather than a primary playmaker. Question two: how will the Lakers' style of play change? The goal, it appears, is to be the antithesis of Cleveland. Instead of targeting shooters, Magic Johnson is going after playmakers and defense-first veterans. Sensible strategy on paper, but it also feels a little more risky than it should. And after playing at a rapid pace the past 2 years under Luke Walton, the Lakers want to slow it down to a speed of LeBron's liking. It makes sense to cater to him, just as it made sense to go faster to play to the strengths of a younger team. but the transition process could produce some growing pains, especially for the young players on this team, should they stick around. And playing slower also means efficiency will be more of a priority. Fewer possessions, and some of the additions the Lakers made don't exactly scream that. JaVale McGee can be efficient, but he's also erratic at times. Rajon Rondo can set up others for efficient shots. And Lance Stevenson, well, there are times when his efforts work out, I suppose, but he's not reliable by any means. There's a silver lining here. It's that Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and Brandon Ingram could outplay their elders and win those starting spots around LeBron. That would make for an inexperienced team, sure, but one that might have a much higher ceiling. Number 3, can Luke Walton handle the mean team locker room? Adding Stevenson, JaVale McGee, and Rajon Rondo to a team with Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma, with LeBron lording over all of them, feels like a reality television show. Let's get an NBA Hard Knocks going. And the honest to coach this smorgasbord of a roster falls on the 38-year-old Luke Walton, who was drafted the same year as LeBron and is now going into his 3rd season as Lakers head coach. We know Luke Walton is a player's coach. He's going to become a juggler on a tightrope, catering to LeBron, developing the young players, and keeping the motley crew of one-year guys engaged. According to a report, LeBron hasn't even met with Walton yet and didn't meet with him at all throughout the recruiting process. I want to say that's not something to look into, but we also have enough precedent to know that LeBron is not shy about letting his coaches know how he feels in unspoken ways. Question 4, where will the shooting come from? As it stands, their best shooters are Kuzma and Mo Wagner. Less than ideal Lonzo Ball's shot will hopefully improve in year 2, and Ingram has developed into a reliable shooter, 47% from the field, 39% from 3 on about 2 attempts last year. But that's a void none of the Lakers' other signings may be able to fill. And LeBron has improved as a three-point threat in the back half of his career, but he still needed shooters around him so that he could create for himself and others. And if he becomes more of a post player in LA, he'll need shooters to kick out to. Maybe a free agent shooter like Wayne Ellington wasn't willing to take a 1-year deal to play with LeBron in LA. But it sounds like the Lakers didn't make an effort to target such a player anyway. Number 5, what will happen to Lonzo Ball? His place on the team is already interesting. It's even more fascinating with the news that LeBron will spend more time on the post. The second-year player will now be in competition with Rajon Rondo for the role of primary ball handler. I think it should be Lonzo regardless, given that he is already a good passer, rebounder, and defender, and further developing him will only help the Lakers going forward. But if the directive is to win now, he's going to have an uphill battle. Rondo shot better from Lonzo from the field last year, and they each shot around 30% from 3. Rondo on only 2.3 attempts a game, and Lonzo on 5.7 attempts. Lonzo brings known upside, while Rondo is a known commodity with a lower ceiling. Should make for a fun competition. Are the Lakers going to get Kawhi Leonard? If they trade for Kawhi before the season begins, then winning now will feel more plausible. LeBron at the post will feel more palatable, and all the signings that made us go, won't feel as ill-fitting. The kind of tantalizing talent Kawhi brings. He'd instantly become the best shooter on the team and maybe the number 1 scoring option. He's also the kind of defender who would take a load off LeBron. And this will not happen without the Lakers and Spurs coming to an agreement and without the former giving up a combination of their assets. It makes sense to wait a year, let the 1-year deals of the Motley crew run out, and then sign Kawhi outright. Then again, there's risk with that approach too. What did the Lakers learn from the Paul George saga, which we're going to get into shortly? Well, aside from never pinning your hopes on a guy willing to do a 3-part documentary, well, there was this interesting quote from Paul George's ESPN special that shed light on his thinking. I wanted to come to LA a year ago prior to going to OKC. Unfortunately, I wasn't traded to the Lakers. The Lakers didn't grab me. I was traded to Oklahoma, and that has been a beautiful thing for me. In theory, the Lakers were wise not to gut their roster for George when they could have signed him for the only price of his contract this offseason. Not getting him doesn't invalidate their process, but now that they're facing a similar situation with Kawhi, it's tough to ignore the possibility of history repeating itself. What if Kawhi ends up in Philly, falls in love with the cheesesteaks, thrives alongside a team that fits his game, and the Sixers make the finals in the wide open East? Could the Lakers lose out on a second player proceed to be bound for LA? This time the risk might not be worth taking. What move will come next? Aside from shooters and maybe Kawhi, the Lakers need another big man, whether that means bringing back Brook Lopez or trying to find a bargain replacement. They parted ways with Julius Randle and have only Ivica Zubac. who played about 9.5 minutes a game in 43 total games to back up McGee. McGee starting on the Warriors is one thing. Starting him on a reconfiguring Lakers team feels like a stretch. Then again, this is apparently the plan that LeBron and Magic hatched together. It's hard to argue against their resumes. And the final question, is it surprising that LeBron is okay with all of this? Yes and no. LeBron was thinking long-term when he made this decision. The 3-year deal he agreed to, plus an option for a fourth, shows that he's willing to be patient and enjoy the lifestyle benefits that come with living in LA, as a real contender is built around him. The first time in his career, it feels like LeBron isn't in a state of basketball urgency. He's won 3 championships and done everything necessary to be considered one of the best players of all time. Even if Magic and the Lakers haven't yet earned the benefit of the doubt, LeBron certainly has. So, a lot of questions, like I said. You heard the questions. So, it is huge, especially for the NBA. It saves the world from yet another Cavs Warrior final, which, let's be realistic, point to go away. And I think we're finally going to get past that, thank the Lord. So, East becomes wide open. West becomes a little more interesting, even though Golden State is still the favorite. Houston's still right there. And now the Lakers have just thrown themselves into contention to perhaps have a winning record for the first time in quite a few years. So, huge. That's all I can say. I mean, I was blindsided. I did not even see this coming. I mean, I honestly didn't know where he was going to go. I thought we were going to get another decision spectacle, but thank goodness we did not. So, because if we had, so help me, I would have gone off even worse than I did 8 years ago when the other decision thing went down. So, big time indeed. So, with that being said, I want to bring MF in. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. The NBA free agency, the theme of our show tonight. Of course, you have to start with the biggest bomb of them all. LeBron going to the Lakers, major game changer. Let's just say no Cavs Warrior final for the 5th year in a row this time.
No, we probably will not get a Cavs Warrior final for the 5th time. But the thing is that this is not even the biggest move. At least in my eyes, this is not the biggest move. Yes, it's monumental. Yes, it's a game changer. Yes, it shifts the balance of power in the Eastern Conference. It opens the door for the teams like the Boston Celtics. It opens the door for Philadelphia. It opens the door for, Washington, Toronto, Milwaukee, Indiana. It opens the door for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference to say, hey, now we got a chance. Cleveland's probably going to be on a downswing, and we could possibly now be in the NBA Finals. As far as the Lakers go, this is a great first step. This is a step in the right direction. However, one man is not going to change the balance of power in the Western Conference. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, the LA Lakers is still not better than the Golden State Warriors. The LA Lakers is still not better than the Houston Rockets. And as a matter of fact, I don't think I could see them being maybe from 5 to 8 range, but I don't think LeBron can get by the Warriors, the Rockets, some of the elite teams in the Western Conference. I mean, I think he needs more pieces. I think he'll need more free agents, guys who are willing to play with him. And we'll get into some of the other factors of certain players and what happened with them a little bit later on tonight. But at the end of the day, yes, what LeBron did was a necessary move. He wasn't getting any help in Cleveland. Dan Gilbert absolutely sabotaged the Cavaliers to the point where LeBron had no choice but to leave. I've been very critical of Dan Gilbert once before because of the decision. I'm critical of Dan Gilbert again because of the fact that he got rid of the general manager that was really good at the time and a general manager that led them to the NBA championship. So without a doubt, once again, Dan Gilbert's ego got in the way and took the greatest player on the planet, LeBron James, and had him go out west. This time, instead of going to Miami and staying in the Eastern Conference, he goes out west to the LA Lakers. Basically, it's not only just a move to go to the Lakers, but it's also a move for the LeBron James brand as well. Basically, to go to LA, he can make a lot of money on all of his deals that he does. You know, he's supposedly is in the works of doing a Space Jam 2, a la what Michael Jordan did on that infamous movie. Anthony, you know about that movie very well because we saw it once, I think in 96. I think 96, 97 back in Riverside Junior High days, and we were having a lot of fun with that movie. And, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, now LeBron's thinking, you know, past the NBA. What's his future going to look like? And plus, on top of that, it's a 4-year deal, guaranteed. No player option, no nothing. He's locked in for 4 years. That's also a big thing as well, where when he was with Cleveland, you know, he was playing one deal after another, year in and year out. This time around, he's playing a smarter, better basketball than anything else. So we'll see what happens there. But at the end of the day, as much as Anthony Flores says he didn't know how this was going out, I've been following the NBA and especially the free agency. The Lakers were literally on the top of LeBron James' list. As a matter of fact, he was down to 3 teams on the day that it all started. Basically, it was either he was going to stay in Cleveland, he was going to go to the Lakers, or he was going to end up in Philadelphia. Basically, there was a rumor about Boston. Boston was never in the mix. Let's just get that out of the way. Boston was never in the mix to get LeBron James. No way, no how. The Lakers were definitely there. And on top of that, one reason why a lot of people thought, oh, he's going to the Lakers was because of the fact that his son actually enrolled in a high school in California, near the LA area. This was the same high school that some of the other big players have, like Dwayne Wade's sons. Like, I think it was a who's who of some of the best high school basketball players was going to be in that university or in that camp. So the writing was almost on the wall that LeBron was going to go to LA. It wasn't a matter of if he was going to go. It was just, could they get the pieces that was going to assure him that he was going to go to the Lakers? Even though there's some moving parts being thrown around right now, and we'll get into that later tonight. But at the end of the day, this was definitely not a surprise, at least in my eyes. LeBron going to LA was the necessary move. It was the right move. It was definitely a move for him and his family that definitely will pay off in spades down the line. Now the real work begins, and that's, you know, winning an NBA championship for the Lakers, and that's the real factor of the whole 9 yards. So nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, this was definitely one of the teams that LeBron James was definitely was interested in, and yeah, we found out Sunday evening that news that he was going to be going to the LA Lakers. I mean, that's a big move for them, and it could definitely get some fans to buy tickets this upcoming season, and maybe get some of those sellout crowds back, especially now that you got your big star in LeBron James. But here's the thing. I mean, they still got a lot of work to do, the Lakers, if they want to be a contender for a championship. I mean, they did make some other moves, but they got so many other moves they got to do if they want to compete with a team like the Golden State Warriors. And I'll be quite honest, going into this free agency season, I thought maybe LeBron would end up going to Philadelphia, because you got the Rookie of the Year Ben Simmons there. You got Joel Embiid. I mean, you got some young talents who really are starting to come in, and you add a piece like LeBron James to that mix, that would have put them over maybe a chance to be in the NBA Finals. And here's the thing: you had if LeBron James had gone to Philadelphia, could you imagine that the rivalry with the Sixers and the Celtics? It would be taken up to a whole new level. It would bring back the old days of the rivalry with the Celtics and the Sixers from the days of Larry Bird and Julius Erving. I mean, that would have done it, but yeah, I mean, hey, I mean, LA got its big time free agent, but Magic Johnson certainly got a lot more to do to that roster if they want to become a championship team. So, yeah, and like Fletcher just mentioned, once again, Dan Gilbert. I mean, what an egotistical maniac he is. I mean, once again, his ego gets in the way. He lets LeBron leave. I mean, Dan Gilbert's done some stupid things. I mean, especially letting the GM go. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was thinking with that, but once again, that's Dan Gilbert being Dan Gilbert. So, congratulations, you idiot! Now you've got the Cavs once again as a mediocre team, just like the last time when LeBron left Cleveland. So you got nobody to blame but yourself. So yeah, I mean, nothing more for me to say. Florio, let's just move right along with our next big name in free agency that's going to another team.
Well, it's not so much somebody going to another team; it's someone that's staying. But we'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted.
Well, before that, I mean, what do you think of Dan Gilbert? I mean, he let LeBron James leave again.
Personally, I don't give two craps about Dan Gilbert, so I'm just gonna park it right.
I think Fletch pretty much described it for you.
You too. So I could care less, honestly. So let's.
So he's getting exactly what he deserves.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. So let's move on here. I wanted to get into this real quick. The Lakers have not had a winning season since the 2012-13 season. And that was also the last time they made the playoffs as well. They finished 45-37. They got swept in the first round by the San Antonio Spurs. But every year since then, they've been under 500. And this year, they actually had a not so good, but not overly bad record this time around. They were 35-47, which is not too bad, but not too good either. So, but we'll wait and see. So we'll see. Can they have their first winning record since 2012-13? We'll find out. So now we move to someone who's staying with his team, Paul George. They signed forward Paul George to a multi-year deal. I don't have the terms on that. Perhaps one of you guys do. So, MF, started with you here. Paul George staying in OKC, a new multi-year extension. So that definitely helps OKC out.
Absolutely helps them out. Big deal for them. Paul George declaring that he is going to stay, multi-year deal, and he did it for the max deal that he was looking for. I think a lot of people honestly really thought that Paul George was gonna go, that he was gonna go to the LA Lakers, that this was gonna be, that this was an open and shut case, that this was gonna be just a rental deal and everything else. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Paul George really just honestly followed his heart. He was very adamant that he wanted it to stay with the when you really think about it, and the hindsight and the whole 9 yards, and when you were following that documentary, and Anthony, you were talking about it on ESPN, he was listening to every factor, everything. So it wasn't like he was, it wasn't an ego type thing. It was just really more, he wanted it to know what was going on, what the real look is, what's the feeling, what's the sentiment, what should I do if I make it, what's going to happen, this and that. And the thing is that he was happy in Oklahoma City, which is very, which probably shocks a lot of people because you never hear anything good about Oklahoma City. But the thing is, Russell Westbrook is, he listened to Russ, he listened to the coaches, he listened to everybody that he needed to talk to. The right people steered him in the right direction. And, he could have gone for the glitz and glamour. He could have gone home, could have gone back to LA. He was comfortable in OKC, and he ended up sticking with the Thunder and basically shocked the entire NBA world, because I think a lot of people thought in their right mind that there's no possible way that he stays in Oklahoma, because a lot of people thought, for that to happen, it was going to be something out of the ordinary, but he got the max. 4 years, $137 million for Paul George to stay in Oklahoma City. And the thing is, the numbers were there. He was really good with them. He had a good little Batman Robin thing with Westbrook, and everything was feeling good. Everything was fine. Everything was solid. There was nothing bad going on. At the end of the day, you kind of had those feelings. You kind of had those sentiments. What is going to happen? What's the feeling? What's the look of the team's going to look like? Whatever the case may be, next season is going to be remarkable. It shocked a lot of people. I think none of us saw this coming, that Paul George was going to re-sign with OKC, but he did. He burns the Lakers. And, there was some talk that maybe he didn't want to team up with LeBron James. There's been that talk about LeBron being too hard on players, too hard on individuals, that he demands too much. Maybe that's the reason why. You don't know what's in the mindset of Paul George. But the main factor is this. He loves Oklahoma City. He's happy where he was. He's happy to be with the team that he's got. And now he wants to put pieces around and put in a way where he kind of saves himself some money, because he could have gone 5 years, $200-something million if he wanted it. He didn't. He went 4 years with 137, because as a max player in the NBA, as a superstar that he is, he actually could have garnered 5 years, $205 million. He actually kind of gave him a hometown discount by only going 4 years, going to 137, and saving them about another, I want to say about 40 to 50, maybe 60 million that they could use for whatever that may be. Plus, on top of that, with another, unfortunately, we're not going to get into this tonight because it's not on our docket, but with the Carmelo Anthony thing that just happened today, they're saving yet another $100 million. Guys, that means they have lined themselves up for a possible max player that they could use. They could get a big three in OKC, and who knows what that market could be. So look out. Oklahoma City, if they play their cards right, they also could be a threat in the West. So definitely the shocker for me. I thought Paul George was a goner. He surprised me by staying at home. I say he did the right decision. Smart move. And not only that, but you're hailed as a hero to the city of Oklahoma City. As a matter of fact, earlier today, the mayor of Oklahoma City gave Paul George the key to the city and actually named today, July 6, 2018, Paul George Day in the city of OKC. So definitely, when you make the right decision, when you make a decision based on fate of the love of a city, they will repay you in spades. And Paul George, you can go anywhere in any place in Oklahoma City. Your dinner will probably be free from now on. Anything you'll buy is probably going to be on the house because you are now a legend in OKC. A legend. Congratulations, my friend. The money was well earned, and just you making the right decision by sticking with OKC, not listening to anybody else, following your heart. That's the biggest story of it. That's the biggest story of it. If you feel in your heart that it's the right decision, if you feel that you can do the right decision in your life, then do it. Don't listen to anybody else. Follow your heart, son. Well done. Congratulations, and I wish you nothing but the best. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, many people thought that maybe Paul George was going to go to the LA Lakers and team up with LeBron James, but yeah, I mean, Fletcher basically said maybe he didn't want to listen to be on a team that has LeBron James because, like you said, I mean, he demands too much from everybody. So he says, you know what? I'm comfortable where I am with Oklahoma City, and yeah, with the news of Carmelo Anthony, I mean, this definitely is going to free up some of that money, and they may go after a big time player, and this will definitely set up. Oklahoma City for, like I said, getting a max player and really being a contender. So, yeah, I mean, Paul George took a deal like this, and yeah, now he's going to remain with Russell Westbrook. And I mean, yeah, this was definitely, to me, a necessary move. So there's really nothing more to say. I mean, Fletch pretty much touched on everything. So I'm just going to give it to Florio.
Wow. 4 years, 137 mil. It also includes a player option for the 4th season. The 5-time All-Star small forward was expected to attend a Russell Westbrook party recently when his Thunder teammate hosted hundreds of people, and according to ESPN, even had an appearance from the famous rapper Nas. But it wasn't clear until just before the free agency period arrived at 12:01 whether this was a welcome back affair or a last goodbye. And with that, the Thunder, who landed George via trade from the Indiana Pacers last summer, just 1 year after losing Kevin Durant to Golden State via free agency in 2016, somehow staved off the pull of the LA Lakers. And the Thunder had every reason to worry about George leaving to play for his hometown team after underperforming during the regular season. Of course, they finished 48-34. They were just 2 games away from missing the playoffs. And then, of course, in the postseason, they lost in the first round to the Utah Jazz in 6 games. And while the rumblings grew louder in recent days that LeBron might be on the verge of donning the purple and gold, the prospect of Paul George joining him loomed large. And George, who grew up in Palmdale, California, and attended Fresno State, had been open about his affinity for Lakerland. In August, the Lakers were even fined $500,000 for tampering when the NBA discovered that George's agent, Aaron Mitz, had improper communication with Laker GM Rob Pelinka. But from beginning to end, George raved about the organization, the Thunder organization, and he was bullish on the long-term possibilities. And he averaged about 22 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals a game last year. And he said in late September, that's what feels good. That's what makes me feel like, hey, this can be a landing spot for me and somewhere I can call home for years. By the time the season was over, his tone and his tune hadn't changed. And he said they honestly checked the boxes where I needed those boxes to be checked from what a player wants and needs. Out of a front office, out of a medical group, out of teammates, out of coaching staff. And in the end, Thunder general manager Sam Presti deserves immense credit for his bold approach in the post-Durant landscape. Not long after Durant was gone, Russell Westbrook signed a 3-year, $85.7 million extension that made it clear he wasn't about to head for the exits. A year later, he was re-upping yet again in the form of a 5-year, $205 million deal with OKC that cemented his place within the franchise yet again. So, you guys touched on everything. Good for Paul George. I mean, that's all I can say about that. One of the stand-up guys of the league, without a doubt. So, a stand-up move indeed. So, well done. So definitely puts OKC within that contention in the West. And now the number 3 big free agency story. Remember, if you didn't read the docket, it says and so much more. So maybe we could get into that Carmelo Anthony thing that MF was talking about. And then there was another huge free agency story. I think I know where MF was going with it. I'll mention it and I'll see if it's the story that MF was thinking about. But let's get into the third and final really big move of the free agency period, other than LeBron and Paul George, and that is DeMarcus Cousins signing with your reigning and defending back-to-back NBA champion Golden State Warriors for a 1-year, $5.3 million deal. So Michael Bullock, I mean, as I always like to say about certain things, you know, like the Golden State Warriors and SmackDown Live, the rich keep getting richer.
Yes, they got richer, and I mean, all of a sudden, Golden State. If they don't have enough star players, I mean, now they just added another one in DeMarcus Cousins, but here's the thing. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. I mean, of course, he's probably going to miss the first couple of months of the season because remember, he's going to be coming back from a torn Achilles tendon, and we all know those are very serious injuries. So then when he comes back, I mean, he has a chance to prove himself. And the thing is, he's playing with a winning team, or should I say a team that's won back-to-back NBA championships. And the one true thing that the Golden State Warriors have lacked, even in some of their championship runs, was a big guy. A true big guy, a true starting big guy. And DeMarcus Cousins definitely brings that to them. And I mean, if you thought they already weren't the favorites going into next year's NBA season, this really solidifies it. And you know what? Screw waiting until the NBA season. I'm calling it right now. I think the Golden State Warriors are going to three-peat. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. And the thing is, I mean, when DeMarcus Cousins, I mean, when we first heard the signing, I'm sure their NBA fans are like, "You kidding me? Another star player going to the Golden State Warriors? I mean, what's up with that?" And some people are starting to say that the Warriors are starting to become the most hated team in the NBA because of all the star players they have. I mean, their starting 5 when DeMarcus Cousins comes back, they're filled with all stars, and to some they think that's not fair, but I mean that's what the business is. I mean, some may not like it, some may not like it, but you know what? Hey, it's their decision, and DeMarcus Cousins wanted to be with a championship team, and it doesn't get any better than being with the back-to-back champion Golden State Warriors. So, but like I said, I'm already calling it. They're going to three-peat. So, nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
And if they do three-peat, it would make it 4 out of the last 5 as well, further cementing their dynasty. And you make a great point, Bullock. I mean, Golden State Warriors have become the most hated team since the Miami Heat a few years ago when they had LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh and their cast of characters. You remember I went as far as to call them the overhypes. And yes.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, Steph Curry and especially that Naga diva guy Draymond Green, I think they embrace being hated. They said, "Hey," I'm sure, like, "Hey, if us winning all these championships means we're going to be the number 1 hated team, hey, we'll take it."
Just like they did. But let's get into this now. I mean, joining the Warriors, who already have a staggering lineup of all NBA talent, should allow DeMarcus Cousins to recover from that torn left Achilles prior to returning to the court next season. 2-time All-NBA selection. He became expendable in New Orleans on Monday The previous Monday or recently after the Pelicans had agreed to a deal with free agent center Julius Randle. Cousins averaged 25.2 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and shot 35% on threes last year in 48 games. He told Mark J. Spears of The Undefeated he was confused and hurt that he had no offers, even from the New Orleans Pelicans. And Cousins also told him that he called his agent and they discussed various options, including the Warriors, who lost JaVale McGee in free agency. Maybe we'll get into that in just a little bit, to the Lakers. Sources told ESPN's Chris Haynes that Cousins had narrowed his choices down to Golden State and Boston. And Cousins called Warrior president of basketball operations Bob Myers to discuss joining the team. And Cousins says, "This is my ace of spades. This is my chess move." After the details had been discussed, Cousins said he had great conversations with Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green, all of whom were his teammates on Team USA. He said every guy was excited. The conversation sealed the deal. Cousins said he called Myers around 8 to say he would sign. And Cousins thanked New Orleans and its fans on Twitter after the deal was announced. The Warriors used their taxpayer mid-level exception to reach the deal with Cousins, who underwent surgery in late January to repair the torn Achilles. He has been rehabbing the injury and told Spears he is aiming to be recovered by training camp. And the move gives Cousins an outstanding chance to recover from his injury. Should he be healthy and rejoin the free agent market next summer? This year's market had dried up on Cousins, who struggled to find a team willing to give him a long-term contract at the kind of max-level salary that he would have received prior to his injury. Stephen Curry welcomed his new teammate on Twitter shortly after the news broke. The Warriors, already minus 110 favorites to win the 2019 NBA championship at the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook, jumped to minus 150 favorites when Cousins' impending signing was reported. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, the 2018-19 Warriors will be the 6th team in NBA history and the first since the 1975-76 Boston Celtics to have 5 All-Stars from the previous season. I'm just going to park it there. MF, I mean, what do you make of that? How do you follow that? Wow.
It's the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened. It almost makes you sick to your stomach. I mean, how on earth does that happen? How on earth does the NBA allow this to happen? I mean, there was one time where the NBA blocked a deal, and that was when Chris Paul was going to go to the LA Lakers, and everybody started griping. And then David Stern, of all people, basically said, because of the integrity of the game, he actually vetoed the trade and blocked it. I'm shocked that Adam Silver has not blocked this deal, because this has to be an integrity of the game level. I mean, it almost makes me want to not watch the NBA. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, I'm the analyst and Mr. NBA, but this put me off. I mean, so bad, man. I cannot believe this happened. But, you know, it's like you've always said, Anthony, the rich gets richer, and, you know, they were able to maneuver it around. They were shrewd enough and smart enough, and maybe this was their trump card that they had, you know, knowing that with LeBron going to the Lakers, this was Golden State's move of saying, okay, try to beat us now. Now we got 5 All-Stars. You know, I mean, a lot of people flipped out over the fact when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. Now try to deal with 5 of us. Think about the lineup that they got now with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and now DeMarcus Cousins. Are you kidding me? That's absolutely, it's almost insane what it is. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, it is what it is. Congratulations to DeMarcus Cousins. You know, you deserve the money that you're getting. But are they going to be able to gel as a unit like everybody thinks they're going to? Because remember, DeMarcus Cousins will most likely will not be back till at least January with that Achilles injury that Michael Blick alluded to. So, I mean, if the Warriors can make it through without DeMarcus Cousins at the beginning, then if they get him back, but they're probably going to be going through some growing pains. So give it about a month or so. We're going to have to wait and see. So the door is definitely open, but my God, man, if this team starts clicking on all cylinders in March and April, heading into the postseason, we might be talking about a three-peat. Absolutely. So we'll wait and see what happens. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Now those were the three biggest stories of the free agency. Now Derek said so much more in the docket. I don't know what exactly he wanted us to get into, but I'm gonna take a stab in the dark. There is another story that definitely needs to be addressed. Well, there's two that needs to be addressed, and I think I know. MF said there was a huge story. Well, I think I just found it. Tony Parker. Whoa, boy. This is humongous here. The end of an era in San Antonio. Tony Parker, no longer a San Antonio Spur. Tony Parker is now a Charlotte Hornet. A 2-year, $10 million deal. And that gets rid of his 17-year career with the San Antonio Spurs. Hold on 1 minute, please. I do apologize for that. Something very disturbing going on there, but I'll try to get into this the best that I can. Tony Parker, 2-year, $10 million deal with the Charlotte Hornets. Became an unrestricted free agent this summer, and he let Greg Popovich know in the last hour to inform him of his decision to accept Charlotte's offer. Spurs wanted Parker back in a mentorship role, but he'll take on a significant role with the Hornets behind Kemba Walker. So, it was a tough decision. I mean, Parker was drafted by the Spurs 28th in 2001 and has spent his entire career in San Antonio. 4 championships, 03, 05, 07, and 14. Was the finals MVP in 07. Tough decision. Tough 3 days. Tough communicating it all to Pop. Parker told the undefeated Mark Spears. But I had to move on. It was a very emotional conversation with Pop and R.C. Buford. I will always love San Antonio. I will always be a Spur. My family and house are in San Antonio. But I'm excited to play for my idol in MJ, of course, Michael Jordan, James Borrego, and who I played in for San Antonio, and with my little brother, Nicholas Batum. Third player in NBA history to play at least 17 years, with one before leaving. Of course, the 2 others are Karl Malone. Difficult to put into words how important Tony Parker has been to the Spurs franchise over the past 2 decades. Popovich said in a statement, from his first game in 2001 at age 19, he has impressed and inspired us day after day, game after game, season after season, with his passion, dedication, and desire. We are grateful to Tony for 17 years of truly amazing memories. Parker's leadership was evident during the Spurs' attempts to ameliorate Kawhi Leonard during the latter's lost season of this year. And back in March, Parker led a players-only meeting along with Manu Ginobili, imploring the injured Leonard to return to the lineup. Adrian Woj reported. And Tension between Parker and Leonard emerged after Parker said his own quad injury was 100 times worse than Leonard's. Leonard had been seeking outside treatment and recovering away from the team for most of last season. Parker ruptured his left quad tendon in the conference finals a couple years ago and now says he is close to 100% healed. Returned to the court last year on November 27th after 208 days. The injury was considered more significant than Leonard's, and the team sought advice of the world's best tendon experts for Parker and Leonard. And Parker elected to utilize the Spurs doctors, and Leonard sought treatment outside of the organization. He says, "I have no problem with Kawhi Leonard. We never had an argument," Parker told The Undefeated. "When the journalist asked me if my injury was worse than Kawhi's, I said yes because it was true, but that didn't lessen the significance of his injury. He took over the franchise, and I gave up the torch of the franchise willingly. It's very sad that the media took one quote and made it sound like I didn't want to play with him. He was the face of the franchise." Well, I'll tell you, I mean, huge pickup for the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know if it's going to make them better in the scheme of things, but definitely a big blow to San Antonio without a doubt. I mean, we could be looking at the end of an era in San Antonio for sure. I mean, especially if Leonard goes and now you lose Tony Parker. And this could be the first time in over 20 plus years that San Antonio Spurs may not be a playoff team. I mean, it's hard to fathom, but we always say nothing lasts forever. And it was a great run for the San Antonio Spurs without a doubt, especially when Parker came in. You know, when you had that big three of him, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan, especially after David Robinson retired. And, you know, they were always at that elite level. I mean, 4 championships. Many argue he should have had a 5th. I know a lot of people were saying they should have won it in 2013, but, you know, it is what it is. But nonetheless, definitely the end of an era in San Antonio and perhaps the beginning of a new one in Charlotte. So, big deal indeed. 2 years, $10 million. Wish Tony Parker all the best. And all I can say is San Antonio, or I should say Charlotte rather, what an addition. Now, he may not be as good as he once was, but that's definitely a big boost to the Charlotte Hornets without a doubt. So with that being said, MF, I mean, you said there was a bigger story. I think I found the right one. Was this the huge?
Well, it's not. This is one of the big stories, but it's not the biggest one yet. Look, the free agency market was very apropos and everything else that's been going on lately. This was a big story, a big market deal, and yeah, congratulations to Tony Parker for going to the Charlotte Hornets. He's going to be a nice fit for them and the whole 9 yards. And with everything that's been going on, you know, with San Antonio and all the drama, especially with the Kawhi Leonard situation, you kind of had a feeling that maybe this was the time that Tony kind of realizes the writing on the wall that, you know, this is not going to be the same team that they had in the past. So they kind of had to, you know, change course, change direction and the whole 9 yards. So for me, this was a fair assessment, a fair deal. Nothing more to say in my eyes. So Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is. Yeah, I like this move. I mean, the Charlotte Hornets getting Tony Parker for 2 years. I don't know if he's going to make them better, but we'll just have to wait and see. But he does bring veteran leadership to a team like the Hornets, and yeah, I think we are seeing the beginning of the end of an era in San Antonio. I mean, you had their version of the big three with Tim Duncan, who retired. Now Tony Parker going to Charlotte, and the only one left is Manu Ginobili, and yeah, I mean, and especially with what's going on with the whole Kawhi Leonard situation, there could be some problems in San Antonio, and who knows? I mean, unless something really, unless they could do something the rest of the way in the off season, I don't think we're going to see San Antonio in the playoffs for the first time in who knows what. But yeah, I mean, Tony Parker, he accomplished a lot while he was in San Antonio. I mean, like you said, the 4 championships that he won with them, and yeah, I mean, he'll always be a San Antonio Spur as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's just move right along, Florio.
All right, MF, I'm going to bring you in. What was this big story that you wanted to address?
Well, I was thinking that we were gonna probably dive into the NHL stuff, but I'm shocked that Derek never really brought it up on the docket, because I really think that I yes, there was a lot of NBA stuff that was going on, and granted, and the whole 9 yards. I mean, I could definitely get into some of this other stuff. Let me see if I can get free agency 2018, get the real nuggets and everything else. Let's see here. I mean, we did talk about LeBron. We did talk about all these other teams that are going on. I guess the only the Dwight Howard re-signing, or signing with the Washington Wizards. I like that move. I thought that was a nice move. Actually, Chicago just a short time ago just signed. Re-signed Zach LaVine, 4 years, $80 million. Anthony, what happened was the Sacramento Kings gave him an offer sheet of 4 years and 80 mil, and basically Chicago had basically 2 days to try to match it, and they didn't last very long. Within about an hour to 90 minutes, Chicago matches the deal, and now they're saying it's 4 years, $78 million. So he's going to stay with the Chicago Bulls. Let me see. What else are we looking at here? I mean, like I said, there was a lot of other teams. Carmelo Anthony leaving Oklahoma City. Now they're saying that 4 teams are interested in him. Supposedly the Lakers, I think they said it was the Lakers, the Cavs, the Rockets, and the Heat are all after Carmelo Anthony. So we got that going on. And that's really it as far as like the NBA stuff. So I don't know. Maybe the Wilson Chandler going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, that was a nice little pickup for them. Jeff Green goes to the Washington Wizards on a 1-year deal. So, I mean, that was a nice little pickup, including the Dwight Howard move. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the NHL? I mean, like I said, I don't know what else there is unless you want to just dive right into the power rankings.
Well, we have to go by what's on the docket. So,
that's fine.
I mean, it was pretty much NBA free agency. That was pretty much the emphasis of our docket this evening. So with all that being said, if the NHL stuff was there, then definitely we get into that. But he didn't put it on there, so I think we should just get into the power rankings here. And I'll tell you what, I actually did it before the show, so I'm ready to go as far as that is concerned. So yes, indeed. So with all that being said, I'm just gonna take it for the spin first here. So gonna start it off at number 10, and I'm gonna tell you what, we have a dud team in that rank in these rankings. Well, actually. Two. San Francisco Giants. They're not in it. Arizona Diamondbacks are out of it, as well as even my team, the New York Yankees, especially after losing tonight to the Toronto Blue Jays, despite a solid week. But the 10 teams that I have in here are all playing really good ball right now. So there's nothing more to say. Let's dive in at number 10 with the Colorado Rockies. They've won 3 in a row, 6-4 in their last 10. 44-43. They meet our criteria. First time in a while they've been in our rankings. They're 8th in batting average, 9th in runs scored, 24th in the WHIP, 29th in ERA, and let's take a look and see what they've done since our last rankings a week or so ago. They took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, and of course the big thing for them this week, they had a 3-game sweep of the San Francisco Giants. That definitely put them into the rankings this week without a doubt. And right now they have a 3-0 lead on the Seattle Mariners going into the 5th inning. So we might have to make an indemnity, especially near the top right there. So we'll have to look into that. But they have 2 more against the Mariners this weekend in Seattle, and then they're off on Monday, and then a 3-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's at home, and then they start another 3-game interleague series with the Seattle Mariners next week, this time in Denver. So, and then that'll take them up to the All-Star break. So, man, we're getting close to the All-Star break already. My goodness, this season's really flying. So, nothing more to say. Number 10, Colorado Rockies. MF, let's have it.
Fair enough. Number 10 in my rankings is the Colorado Rockies as well. There's really nothing more to say. Anthony, you kind of got touched on everything about it. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous as well. The Colorado Rockies are number 10 in the power rankings for me as well. So, yeah, there's pretty much nothing more to say. I mean, Florio pretty much touched on it. So let's move right along to number 9, and Fletch kicks it off.
All right, number 9, and I gotta say it. One team that's been red hot lately, don't look now. Here they come in the National League East. The Philadelphia Phillies are back. They were left for dead not too long ago. All of a sudden, winners of 4 in a row, 6-4 in the last 10 games, and they're putting a whooping on the Pittsburgh Pirates as we speak right now. The last time I checked, I think I heard it was 17-5. It was an emphatic doy, is all I can say about it. But they absolutely been killing it lately. They're playing great baseball right now. The only reason why that they're not a little higher is because the same team that's in my ranking has the identical record, division leader. Major difference. So unfortunately, I can't put them any more higher than where they're at the moment. So my number 9 is the Philadelphia Phillies, but just barely. So Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
I agree with you there, Fletch. Number 9 is the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I mean, the Phillies. I mean, they've been playing some really good baseball as of late. I mean, I never would have thought they would actually be in the race in the division. I mean, I thought this was going to be another dud season for the Phillies, but I mean, some of their young studs are really playing well. I mean, Odubel Herrera, I mean, he's been hitting the ball really well, and their pitching has been really good, especially with Aaron Nola, and so basically they're really catching up to Fletch's Atlanta Braves, and like I said, they continue to impress me pretty much. So yeah, number 9, it is the Philadelphia Phillies. Floyer, what's yours?
Yeah, Philly. That game is now a final. That 17-5 is now a final. So they've now won 5 in a row. So we may have to switch it around, but you know what? We may have. I think we should just keep them where they are. Because division leaders, the whole 9 yards. But yes, Philly. What can you say? So they took 3 out of 4 from the Washington Nationals at home, and then they swept a 2-game interleague series with the Baltimore Orioles, and then an off day, and then a 17-5 beatdown of Pittsburgh tonight in Pittsburgh. So big deal there. 2 more games against the Pirates this weekend up in Pittsburgh, and then they will have a 4-game series with the Mets, including a day-night doubleheader on Monday at Citi Field. And then from there, Thursday they will have a makeup game, which is an interleague game with the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards. And then next weekend they'll be going up to Miami to take on the Marlins. So they got a pretty favorable schedule here. Pittsburgh not all that good. The Mets, they started really good, but then they fell off the wagon. And Baltimore, you already know how much of a mess they are. And then the Marlins, well, that speaks for itself. So pretty soft schedule coming up for the Phillies. That's all I can say there. And if they take advantage of it, who knows? Maybe they could be even higher next week. So that's really all I can say there. So you guys nailed it. Although you can make an argument that you may need to move them up a little more because this is now their 5th win in a row, and the last 10 might go up a little bit. So that's all we can say there. It is the Phillies for now. So we're just gonna, as I always say, park it there. So with that being said, move on now to number 8, and this is where I have your reigning and defending National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers, 47-39. It's just like in the AL East with the Sox and the Yanks. They're in a percentage points battle with the Arizona Diamondbacks, but they lead. They have a 2 percentage point lead over Arizona. They've won 4 in a row. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They've really, they started so slow, but they have finally looked like that team that nearly won it all last year. 7th in runs scored, 7th in ERA, 9th in the WHIP, 14th in batting average. And you go back and look at what the Mets have, what the Dodgers, I should say. I don't know why I have the Mets on my mind. Dodgers did lose 2 out of 3 to Colorado, but then they made up for that in a big way with a 3-game sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates, outscoring them 31-8 in those 3 games. Big beat down there. They're in the midst of a 3-game interleague series with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, that crosstown series up in Anaheim. They have a 1-0 lead on them in the top half of the 6th inning right now. Tomorrow night they'll be on Fox. One of those Saturday night games on Fox. We're not going to be getting that game, unfortunately. But what we will be getting Sunday night baseball, of course, Michael Bullock's favorite. I know he'll be watching with a vested interest, the Dodgers and the Angels, Sunday night baseball. And then starting Monday, they will start a 4-game series with the San Diego Padres up in San Diego. And then next weekend, they get the Angels again, this time at Dodger Stadium for another 3-game interleague series. And pretty sure that will take it up to the All-Star break for them. So, yes, it will. So, all right. So, with that being said, where are we? Number 8, your reigning and defending National League champion, Los Angeles Dodgers. So, MF, after a slow start, the Dodgers are finally looking like that World Series team from last year.
Yes, they are, and without a doubt, they're playing great baseball lately. They're just getting it right at the right time, peaking at the right moment. Nothing more to say about that. They've been handling their business. Arizona's been falling apart a little bit. 4-6, loser 2 in a row, and now all of a sudden the Dodgers have poised and made that run that they needed it to make, and now they are. Basically, they're starting to turn that corner, and that's bad news if you're any team in the National League, because if they start getting hot, look out. That could be doomsday for a lot of people out there. But at the end of the day, they're handling their business. They're doing what they need to do, which is the right thing, and we'll wait and see what happens. So nothing more to say. Dodgers are looking great now all of a sudden, and Michael Bullock, I give it to you. Number 8 is the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, the LA Dodgers, they're my number 8 as well. So, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So let's just move on to number 7, and Fletch starts it off.
Cleveland Indians, 49-37, the best record in the AL Central right now. Winners of 5 in a row. They put a nice little whooping on the Oakland Athletics. And oh, by the way, folks, yes, I'm going to say it for the first time this year, Oakland's in the power rankings. Where are they going to be? You're just going to have to sit and wait and You'll find out. But let me tell you, it's a high number. You're not going to believe where we put them. Oakland, but back to Cleveland. They've been playing great baseball. Whatever what you can say, it kind of feels like they want to make a big run here. 5 in a row, nice little run that they're getting on. Now it's just, can they just keep that momentum going? Right now, they are overwhelmingly running away with the AL Central. Here's the scary thing: they're the only team above 500, and they are the team that has the biggest lead in the division heading into the All-Star break, guys. They are 11 and a half games up on the second place team. Can you say over? Because that's what I think it is. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Because when you're 11 and a half up on your second place team, which, oh, by the way, is the Minnesota Twins, I don't see nobody catching the Indians. I think they will get this done very quickly, very easily, unless they hit a snack after the All-Star break or go into like a summer swoon, which I hope they don't. But Cleveland is poised to win the division going away in a laugher right now. So nothing more to say. Number 7 is the Cleveland Indians. Michael Bullock, go.
Yeah, I agree. The number 17 for me is the Cleveland Indians. I mean, yeah, they've been playing good as of late, and it's just like you said, it's amazing that they're the only team in the division that has a record over 500, and they have an 11 and a half game lead. Yeah, unless something really dramatic happens, I think they're going to run away with that division. So nothing more to say. Flory, what's yours?
Gentlemen, I think we may need to make a little indemnity here, because with Philly's win tonight, they just updated the standings. They've now won 5 in a row, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. I think we may need to make an indemnity with Philly. I'm just saying. So
I think that's kind of unfair, Anthony, because of the fact that, we were doing, when we started this power rankings, we did it, with the fact that the Phillies had not won that game. So yeah. I'm sorry.
All right.
At least for this one time, I would say no. Not to do the indemnity. I think it would only be fair.
Yeah, it would be a disservice. Yeah, I agree with that. So
yeah, you would be walking a fine line if we did that.
No, it's not that we'd be walking a fine line, but I just feel like at the point that we started the power rankings, it wouldn't count in my eyes. I mean, if we would have done the power rankings a little later in the evening, and then the final would have happened, then I would have said, okay, let's do it. But because we already started it, I feel like it's already too late to shake up the rankings now at this point in the game.
Yeah, because we already started it, and wherever we had in our power rankings leading up to it has to stay where they are.
Fair enough. So, all right. So, where in the world are we? Oh yeah, I got to do my number 7, and I agree, it is Cleveland. 5 in a row, 6-4 in the last 10. Largest division lead of any team in baseball right now with that 11 and a half game lead. I mean, you got 3 divisions where, well, actually, no, I stand corrected. 2 divisions where we have percentage points, the Dodgers in Arizona, and of course the other being, and now it's in the NL East. MF, I'm sorry, but Philly has just overtaken Atlanta by 2 percentage points, 565 to 563. So there you have that. So, but the Indians do have the largest lead of any division leader right now, 11 and a half games over Minnesota. That division is a joke. I am sorry, but it is what it is. We knew Cleveland was going to win that division, but we didn't think they were going to win it this handily. I mean, The Royals, forget it. They haven't been relevant since 2015. White Sox haven't been relevant since 05. Detroit hasn't been relevant since 06. Minnesota, well, they were one of the darlings of last year, but yeah, not so much this time. But Cleveland, 49-37, third in runs scored and third in whip, seventh in batting average, 13th in the ERA. The Indians, right now, definitely rolling. Tito's got his boys playing very well right now. They had the best record in the AL last year, and they're looking like that team again. They did lose 2 out of 3 to Oakland in Oakland last weekend, but then they made up for it, an easy 3-game sweep of the Kansas City Royals. And then tonight, a 10-4 beatdown of the Oakland A's in Cleveland. They get the A's for 2 more this weekend, and then starting Monday, a 3-game series, an interleague series with another dud team, the Cincinnati Reds. And then batten down the hatches, boys, because starting on Thursday, a humongous 4-game series with the New York Yankees in Cleveland, including the Saturday night Fox game next week. So that is a huge series, and we'll see if that's definitely going to have power ranking and AL playoff implications in that one. You better believe it. So I agree, guys. Cleveland Indians coming in at number 7. Move on to number 6, and that is the Chicago Cubs, Matt Ward's team. They lost their last game. They took it on the chin. They're 49-36. They're 2.5 behind Milwaukee in the Central. 7-3 in their last 10 games. Despite this loss, they lead the league in batting average. They're 5th in runs scored. They're 6th in ERA, and they're 15th in the WHIP. And let's look at the body of work for them since our last rankings. A 3-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins. I mean, they really put the runs on the board. I mean, all 3 games were slugfests. That's all there was. 10-6, 14-9, and 11-10. Wow, amazing. And then they swept a 2-game interleague series from the Detroit Tigers. But then today, you lose to the dud Cincinnati Reds. Oh, you boys could have easily been in the top 5 if it wasn't for that. 2 more against the Reds this weekend, and then they have a 3-game series with the San Francisco Giants up in San Francisco. They're off on Thursday, and then next weekend, a 3-game series with the San Diego Padres in San Diego, a 6-game West Coast road trip before the All-Star break. So yeah, if it wasn't for that very bad loss to Cincinnati, we could have easily had seen this team in the top 5. But because of that, nope. Number 6, it is the Chicago Cubs. Sorry. So, MF, let's have your number 6. I'm sure you agree with this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Chicago Cubs is my number 6. Anthony, you really said everything that you needed to say, so nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Oh, who did you have at number 6?
Chicago Cubs.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, I got the Chicago Cubs as my number 6 as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So let's just move into the top 5. So Fletch, I give it to you.
The reigning, defending World Series champions, the Houston Astros, is my number 5, 7-3 in the last 10 games, winners of 4 in a row. They've been red hot lately again, and I gotta say it, man. It's a darn shame because you're thinking, man, they're not, they're not near the top of your list. Why is that? Why is it? Well, I mean, if you look at the teams that are near the top, it's a who's who of some heavyweights, man. I mean, you got one team who's wicked hot in the NL Central, and then the remaining teams are basically some powerhouses. Well, one is actually basically breathing down Houston's neck. One is definitely they just had a good stretch, a good run, even though they're not in any threat or any any competition right now for a division title, but they just had such a good stretch, you can't punish them for it. And then the final team, well, we'll get into them because they're only just one of the hottest teams in the American League right now. Actually has the best record in the AL. So we'll get into them in a little bit too. So, I mean, what Houston's been doing is really good. They've been amazing. They're looking great, but they just, if it wasn't for these other teams right now, I think we would have probably put them in a better position. But my God, my goodness, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. I believe this is my number 6. So this is I give it to the Houston Astros.
No, number 5. Number 5.
No, number
Oh,
5.
number 5 is the Houston Astros.
Yeah, I agree. The Houston Astros, the defending World Series champions, they're my number 5 as well. So nothing more that needs to be said. So, Florio, what's yours?
I'll round it out. Houston Astros coming in number 5, definitely. They did have one Achilles heel, and that was they got swept 3 in a row. Well, actually, they lost 3 out of 4 to the Tampa Bay Rays up in Tampa Bay. That's a big no-no. But then they made up for it in a big way, sweeping a brief 2-game series with the Texas Rangers up in Texas. And then so far, 2 for 2 in a 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. They've outscored them 15-7 in those 2 games, including an 11-4 beatdown tonight. They got the White Sox for 2 more this weekend, and then a big 4-game series with the Oakland Athletics. That's a huge series right there. AL West and power ranking implications indeed. And then next weekend, the Detroit Tigers come in. And good way to start this very long homestand. This is an 11-game homestand, and so far they're 2-0. And we got 2 more against the dud White Sox. Oakland's probably going to be a hassle, but then Detroit, I think they double with them, and then that'll take them up to the All-Star break. So, yeah, they stumbled a little bit, but they've caught fire, and now they're looking like that world championship team from the past season. When you lead the league in ERA and WHIP, second in runs scored, and then you're 3rd in team batting average, yeah, that's definitely a world championship resume right there, if I do say so. So, no doubt about it. Houston Astros, they're number 5. So with that being said, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, it's the best team in the National League right now, the Milwaukee Brewers, 53-35. They lead the Cubs by 2.5 in the Central. They've won 5 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. 4th in ERA, 6th in WHIP. The pitching is good. The offense needs a little work. They're 13th in runs scored, and they're 15th in batting average. And since the last rankings, I mean, Milwaukee, they won, I believe they won, 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4? Let me see this. Actually, they split a 4-game series with the Cincinnati Reds, and then a 3-game sweep. They swept a 3-game interleague series with the Minnesota Twins. And I'm sorry to say it, MF, so far they're 2 for 2 against your Atlanta Braves. 2 more against Atlanta this weekend. Today they're going to be playing on the Fox Sports 1 Saturday game of the week. And then, so that's 2 games right there. And then a 3-game series with the Miami Marlins up in Miami. And then starting Thursday, they've got 5 games against the Pirates. Of course, one of this was supposed to be a 4-game series, but one of those is a day-night doubleheader. And that is on Saturday the 4th. That is next weekend. So yeah, 5 games against the Pirates in Pittsburgh, and then they go to the All-Star break. So that's really all we can say there. Best team in the National League. They're doing very well right now, 53-35. So far 2 for 2 against MF's Braves, and we'll see what the future holds. So right now, the Milwaukee Brewers are coming in at number 4. One of my biggest surprise teams in baseball this year, bar none. And MF, I mean, I hate to say this about your Braves, but they're not quite ready for prime time yet. I mean, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees, and now 0 for 2 against Milwaukee in this 4-gamer.
Yeah, but Milwaukee's been red hot lately, guys, and they're turning into a very dangerous team. So a lot of people didn't think that they were going to turn this good at this time of the year, but they are. And look, Atlanta, we had this big surprise, and up to this point, we've overachieved up to the point that we have. So I'm not gonna uh, be too angry with the Braves. Yes, it's been a little bit of a chore lately, but hopefully we'll turn it around, and we'll stay at least competitive enough towards the end of the season. At least we're overachieving over where we're at. But no, agreed. Number 4 is definitely the Milwaukee Brewers. They've been unbelievable, guys. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. So so Michael Bullock, I just give it to you.
Yeah, number 4, I do agree. It is the Milwaukee Brewers. So yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So I'm just gonna give it to Fletch for your number 3.
All right, my number 3 will be. Is this the moment that I pull the trigger here? Yes. Number 3. Here's a surprise, and this one's gonna catch everybody off guard. You ready, folks? Say hello for the first time in this power rankings all year long to the Oakland Athletics. That's right. The Oakland A's have made it. 8-2 in the last 10 games. They did lose, even though they did lose to the Cleveland Indians. And, one of the hottest teams right now in the AL Central. I mean, like we said, they've been running away with the division. But I mean, 48-40, third place in the division. The problem is they're 10 games out of the division. So it looks like division maybe out of the play as long if for some reason Houston and Seattle starts to skid and they get hot, then maybe they have a chance. But we'll wait and see there. But 8 out of the wild card, and maybe that might be the best hope for them to get through, because right now every other team is basically trailing by double digits. They're the only team that's in single digits that they're chasing down for the wild card. So I mean, after the All-Star break, maybe they become buyers, not sellers. Add a couple of guys for pitching, a little bit of some hitting. Hope and pray that maybe some of these good teams like the Yankees or Seattle starts to fall apart a little bit. Maybe hit that summer swoon as I was telling about. And maybe Oakland finds themselves in the mix. You don't know. So that's the only way they'll get in it. But right now, I mean, they've been playing good. They had a nice little hot streak going for a time where at one time we were actually considered them maybe the number 1 team in the power rankings at one time. But number 3, fair enough. Great road for them. They still got a long haul ahead of them, but I gotta give it the credits due. Oakland's been playing some great baseball lately. So my number 3, the Oakland Athletics. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree with Fletch on this one. The Oakland A's, they're my number 3 as well. I mean, definitely. I mean, this was definitely a surprise team to be in the rankings. I mean, but they continue to play well. So, yes, I mean, even though they did hit a snag with the Indians tonight, but I still like what I see from them. So, my number 3 is the Oakland A's. So, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
Now, MF, you weren't with us on you didn't do the power rankings with us last week. Oakland was actually our number 1 team last week. You went with us last week.
For the first time in my power rankings, they're in. Let me rephrase that then.
Okay. Well, Oakland's been in mine a couple of times. Our first 2 rankings on May 11th and May 25th. Of course, last week they were the number 1 team. Little stumble this time around. Not too bad, though. They only dropped 2 spots down to number 3. But they're still doing very well. They're 48-40. They're 10 out of the 10 behind Houston in the West, 8 behind Seattle for one of those wild card spots. 8-2 in their last 10, even though they did lose tonight. They're 10th in runs scored. They're 11th in the WHIP, 15th in batting average, 16th in ERA. Since our last rankings, they won 2 out of 3 from the Cleveland Indians. Actually, 2 out of 3 from Cleveland in Oakland last week. And then they swept a 2-game interleague series with the San Diego Padres. And then they lost tonight to Cleveland 10-4. They have 2 more against the Indians in Cleveland this weekend. And then starting Monday, that huge 4-game series with the Houston Astros in Houston. Big series right there. And then next weekend, a 3-game interleague series with the San Francisco Giants, which of course will conjure up the memories of that infamous 1989 World Series, which featured, of course, the earthquake, that story. So I'm sure it's going to conjure up those memories without a doubt. So that's what you can't help but think about that whenever San Fran and Oakland get together in interleague. And they're going to be doing that to end before the All-Star break and right out of the gate after the All-Star break. They're going to be seeing a lot of each other over the next couple of weeks. So get used to that Giant A's series, folks. The one next weekend will be in San Francisco, and then they go to Oakland after that. So definitely will conjure up those memories. So with that being said, number 3, it is the Oakland A's. Move on to number 2. Michael Bullock, you're going to be I'm sure you'll be very pleased with this. It's your team, Bullock, the Boston Red Sox. Number 2, winners of 4 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10 games. Best record in all of baseball, 60-29. I am impressed. A 2-game lead over my Yankees in the AL East. They lead the league in runs scored. They're 2nd in batting average. They're 5th in ERA, 6th in the WHIP. And let's see what they've done since our last rankings. Really, the only downside for the Sox was the fact that they did lose. They did lose 2 out of 3 to my Yankees. That big series in New York last weekend. The Yanks took that series 2-1. But they followed up in a big, big way. A 3-game sweep. They swept a 3-game interleague series with the Washington Nationals in Washington, outscoring them 18-7 in those 3 games. They were off on Thursday, and then tonight, an easy 10-5 beatdown of the dud Kansas City Royals, and I do mean dud. This ain't 2015 anymore, folks. They have the Saturday Night Baseball game of the week on Fox tonight. I'm sure Bo's going to enjoy that. 2 more against the Royals this weekend in Kansas City. And then they come home for a 3-game series with the Texas Rangers. And then they follow that up with a 4-game series, also at Fenway with the Toronto Blue Jays, a 7-game homestand to close out before the All-Star break. So definitely looking up in Boston right now. Despite losing that series to the Yankees, they rebounded that sweep of the Nationals. And then so far so good against the Royals. Rangers, that's another dud team. Blue Jays, another meh team. So you got a pretty decent. And then you got Detroit and Baltimore coming out of the All-Star break. Bullet, come on. Look at this. I mean, your team's got an SAWFT schedule, man. That's all I can say. So you better take advantage of it. That's all I can say on that. Because if you don't, well, watch out. But for right now, they're number 2. The Boston Red Sox, best record in baseball, 60-29. It's been a long time since they've had a 100-win season. I'm going to look into that in just a minute. So, but for right now, the Boston Red Sox are number 2, clicking on all cylinders. Boy, howdy. I have not seen a team this good in a long time. I mean, this may be the best team since the 2013 championship team. So, nothing more to say. Boston Red Sox, number 2. They just missed number 1. MF, I mean.
As a matter of fact, I actually have to think about this. I think this might be the most wins the Red Sox has ever had heading into the All-Star break, too. I don't think they've never had 60 wins or something like that. This is a really remarkable first half for the Boston Red Sox, no doubt about it. 8-2, winners of 4 in a row. Normally, that would make you worthy of number 1, but there's a team out there that's actually better than that, even though their record doesn't indicate it, but they've been better than Boston lately. So, unfortunately, we can't put them at number 1, which is shocking, but Boston is really killing it lately. Yeah, they're really poised that they could have at least over 100 and they'll easily go over 100 wins. But I'm thinking, Anthony, this could be a 105, 110 win team. The way Boston's been playing, I think they might be 105, 110 wins this year. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're gonna be flirting with that all-time record for the most wins in the American League, but I think this could be a 105, 110 team, a 110 win team. They're that good. The Boston's been killing it lately, so no doubt about it. Number 2 is the Boston Red Sox. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, the Boston Red Sox, I mean, they are my my number 2 team in the power rankings as well. I mean, I know there are probably some people that are probably out there saying, like, what? You don't have them as the number 1 team in the power rankings. Well, I mean, with that record, they should be, but there's one team, I mean, that's actually been playing even better than the Red Sox in the last few games. I mean, who is that team? Well, we're gonna find out once in just a matter of moments who that number 1 team is. That is actually better than the Red Sox. So yeah, I mean, they are the first team to 60 wins. I mean, man, oh man, I mean that's hard to imagine. I mean, I have to. I mean, the thing is, I mean, Alex Cora, I mean, to me, as of right now, I don't know how you guys feel. I think he's got to be in the running for manager of the year. I mean, with what he's done with that team and with some of what they've done offensively, especially JD Martinez. I mean, 27 home runs, leading all of baseball and leading the American League in I think all of baseball in RBIs. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, everybody talks about the Yankees and the getting Giancarlo Stanton in a trade, but I don't think anybody nationally is talking about what JD Martinez has brought to the Red Sox. I mean, and you've also got Mookie Betts, has been playing very well. I mean, he just hit his 22nd homer. Xander Bogaerts is having a bounce back year. Chris Sale is obviously being, well, Chris Sale, but the amazing thing is with the 60 wins, you want to know something, guys? They didn't pick up they didn't pick up win number 60 last year. I mean, they didn't pick up win number 60 last season till August 3rd last year. I mean, it's just an amazing turnaround for this team. Now, whether this team gets the World Series and wins it, that remains to be seen, because I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of other teams like the Yankees, the Astros. I mean, so many other teams that might have a very different opinion, but for right now, I like what I'm seeing with the Red Sox. So they're number 2. So Fletch, I think there's only one thing left to say. Who is number 1?
Well, number 1 is the Seattle Mariners. Well, number 1 is the Seattle Mariners, but guys, I want to actually tell you something here, and this actually might be a very interesting tipping point and Michael Bullock, you might want to hear this because your team might be on pace to set an all-time record heading into the All-Star break, because right now they got 60 wins. The most wins by any team heading into the All-Star break, believe it or not, you got to go all the way back, and I found this is from the Elias Sports Bureau, was the 1969 Baltimore Orioles when they were 65 and 31 before the All-Star break. So, of course, the others were in 2001, the Seattle Mariners, who were 63 and 24, and the New York Yankees that were 61 and 20. So right now, they are literally flirting with absolute all-time record right now, heading into the All-Star break. And believe it or not, guys, the All-Star break is not for another week. So they still got another whole week before they go into the All-Star break. So, I mean, if Boston keeps winning and they keep doing what they're doing, oh man, not only are we talking about them in an all-time emphasis, but we might be talking about them maybe flirting with the all-time wins record in Major League Baseball, because then all of a sudden it's going to start to think, those questions are going to start to be asked. Can they catch the Yankees? Can they catch the Mariners? And that all-time record, can they be the one to break it? We'll wait and see. Number one in the power rankings is the Seattle Mariners. They were 9-1 in the last 10 games, winners of 1 in a row, including they are currently playing at this hour against the Colorado Rockies, and let me just double check if they're winning or not.
MF, they're losing 6-0.
All right, so unfortunately, that means if that score does indeed hold, well, it's actually 6-1 now. They just scored. But if that score does actually hold, they're not going to be number one next in the next power rankings. I'll tell you that for sure. So, like I said, they played great up to this point. They got to turn it around. If they lose to the Rockies, bye they go. So, but number one in the rankings this week is the Seattle Mariners, but it looks like that might be just a short-lived run. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. Seattle Mariners, they are number one. I mean, they've been playing really well, but yeah, it looks like that number one could be short-lived if the outcome stays the way it is. So, nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, it's Seattle. Seattle number one. 9-1 in the last 10. They won their last game. 56 and 32. 2 games behind Houston in the West. Since our last rankings, an easy 3-game sweep of the Kansas City Royals. And then they won 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But right now, not looking good. Like MF said, they're trailing 6-1 against the Colorado Rockies in the first of this 3-game interleague series at Safeco Field. 2 more against the Rockies this weekend. They're off Monday. And then they have a 3-game series with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in Anaheim. And then next weekend, another 3-game interleague series with the Colorado Rockies, this time up at Coors Field in Denver. And that'll take them to the All-Star break. I mean, they're one of 2 big surprise teams. Of course, I already mentioned one of them. The Milwaukee Brewers are the big surprise in the National League. To me, the big surprise in the American League is the Seattle Mariners. I mean, I didn't think much of this team. I thought they were going to be another, middle of the road kind of year. I thought they were going to be like a 3rd or 4th place team, but never in my wildest dreams did I think they were going to be this good, 56 and 32. And to me, I think their manager should be in consideration for American League Manager of the Year, in addition to Alex Cora in Boston. And don't forget my guy, Aaron Boone in New York. I mean, look what Aaron Boone's done in his first year with the Yanks. I mean, 56 and 29 record, just amazing. I mean, Cora and Boone right now are the front runners, but I think Seattle's manager, I'll look into that in a minute. But getting back to Boston, guys, I looked into it. You want to know the last time they won at least 100 or more games in a year? You got to go all the way back to 1946. That's the last time they had a 100-win season. They had 104 wins that year, and they made it to the World Series, but they lost in 7 games to the St. Louis Cardinals. And Ted Williams had an MVP season that year. And believe it or not, in their history, they've only had 300-win seasons all time. The other two were in 1915, 101, and their first, 1912. The 1912 and 1915 teams won the World Series, but the 46 team did not. So, and they have not had a 100-win season since then. The closest they got was recent years was 77, 78, 97 and 99, the win total. And the 2004 World Series team had 98 wins, and the 2013 team had 97 wins. So definitely on pace for the first 100-win season since 46. That's Boston. So just wanted to get that. Wanted to address that elephant in the room since we were talking about their past seasons. Scott Servais is actually the manager of the Seattle Mariners right now, and I think right now he should be in the running for manager of the year. I mean, go figure. The three leading contenders for manager of the year in the American League, all former players. Alex Cora, former player, now with the Red Sox, who I think is the front runner right now. You can't forget about my guy in New York, Aaron Boone, or as Red Sox fans affectionately called him, Aaron Bleepin Boone back in 2003. We all know that story. With what he's done in New York, nothing short of remarkable there. And now you got to throw in Scotty Servais. I mean, a former catcher, a former player in his own right, and now he's leading the Mariners, and look what he's done. But you can't forget about Houston's manager, and you can't forget about Tito Francona in Cleveland with what he's been doing. So but that's a long ways away. So, but no doubt about it, number one, at least for this week, is the Seattle Mariners. But that likely changes unless they do something out of the ordinary in the remainder of this game with Colorado. So that's it. We're done, guys. This abbreviated edition of Strictly Sports is in the books for this week. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So let's get into our quick shout outs here. I see MF's mic is off, so MF, you take it, and then Bullock, and then I'll wrap it up with the content.
All right. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as incredible as it is. To the super fans, you guys, you know who you guys are. To the 2184 crew, you guys know who you guys are. Friends in your junior high and high school days, much love to you guys. And that's it for me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Mike Fletcher, you know the routine, 100 pounds. I'm out, and have a good night, everybody. So long for now. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yes, and of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to support our shows. Of course, shout outs to all of our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. To all of our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12, especially Channel 6 with their wonderful coverage of the Bristol 4th of July celebration. They did a great job covering it. It was a great celebration, and kudos to them. And of course, our personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL Network, NBA TV, NHL Network, and all the other networks out there. Of course, to all of our friends from The Road Show, former hosts Mary Larson, Megan Mooney, and of course the current hosts Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, and of course a shout out to Team Rhode Island that is currently a part of the Special Olympics USA Games in Seattle, Washington. A definite congratulations to them for everything the competition that they were in this week. The games, the competition is over, and of course, the closing ceremonies will be tomorrow. They come home on Sunday, so all of us here in Rhode Island are proud of you guys, and certainly a great USA game. So, yeah, definitely a major shout out to you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, and enjoy your weekend, everybody. So, Florio, take us home.
Yeah, we'll do, Bullock. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, special shout outs to Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family. Our other shout outs, our other super fans and contributors, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, the other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, the crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, Rob Parsons, and of course, the man himself, Derek Ferrera, who puts this docket together. And of course, all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12, like Bullock mentioned, all of our friends over at ESPN, FS1, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV. Of course, Stata Sorrell, Lindsay McCormick, Chantel McCabe from the Golf Channel, our friends from the Roadshow, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, Michaela Johnson, the former co-host Megan Mooney, who's on Channel 10, and of course, Mary Larson as well. And last but not least, my wonderful friends and church family over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 9, Bible study. 10 a.m., a little after Sunday service. And then Wednesday nights at 7, Bible study. We didn't have one this past Wednesday night because of the 4th of July holiday. We'll see what happens this Wednesday. So other things going on, and looking forward to seeing them for another wonderful service as always on Sunday morning. And that's it for that. Of course, Monday night, we got Ridiculously Raw, the go-home show for Extreme Rules. Monday Night Raw this week will eliminate from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. I don't know of anything on the docket for that. As far as Monday Night Raw is concerned, we know it's the go-home show for Extreme Rules. And then, of course, I've got my Tony's Take, 205 Live, and a match that not only stole the show, but a match that I think should definitely be considered for match of the year, because we had a 5-star classic on Tuesday night, and I'm going to get more into that. Who had it? Well, I'll let you know on a Monday night for my Tony's Take on 205 Live, and I also have my Tony's Take as always on Impact Wrestling. And then Tuesday night we got the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Braves Fan 95. Time to be determined. And of course it'll be their go home show for Extreme Rules up in Manchester, New Hampshire. And MF will also have his latest Mikey's Mindset on the Lucha Underground. And I don't know what the plan is. If it's going to be Strictly Sports next Friday, or if we're going to just go right into our Extreme Rules preview. But if not, then probably Strictly Sports next on Friday, and then maybe next weekend will be our preview of Extreme Rules. And then after the pay-per-view on the 15th, it'll be our recap show with MF. So keep your eye out on our social media, on our Facebook or whatever, and we'll keep you posted on when those shows go down. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Dee Dee Woodson, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long. Bye, everybody. Bye.